I now call this Bryan Independent School District meeting to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members are present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The time is 6 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here and joining us this evening. I ask that you please turn off the sound on your mobile devices. And we are excited to welcome students from Long Intermediate School this evening to lead us in our pledges of allegiance.
Woo-hoo.
My name is Adeline Neiman, 6th grade.
My name is Derek Neiman, and I am in 6th grade. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Yay.
Great job. We'll start the agenda with spotlights. First is item 4A, Auxiliary Employee of the Month, introduced by Mr. Rick Scott, Assistant Director of Custodial Services.
Good evening. Custodial Services is proud to recognize Maria Camasina Pizarro as the August 2026 Auxiliary Employee of the Month. She has worked for Bryan ISD School District for 2 years. She single-handedly maintains the cleanliness of the Bryan ISD Ruby Holly Burton Auxiliary Complex. She has also helped at other campuses throughout the district when needed. She consistently displays her dedication to her job and has a keen attention to detail when it comes to ensuring her job is done correctly. Maria Camasina Pizarro's outstanding work ethic and attention to detail have demonstrated that she maintains the Ruby Holly Burton Auxiliary Complex facility in an exemplary manner. Maria, thank you for everything you do to keep Bryan ISD clean and healthy.
It's a big complex. Yay.
Congratulations. Next, we'll have Fine Arts recognitions. Director of Fine Arts, Mr. Jacob Justice, will present.
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to come here and get to talk about our phenomenal fine arts program with you all. I'm actually recognizing 3 different awards that we have been given over the summer. And so we have students and teachers who are representing those different groups. And as I read these awards, I'm going to ask them to come up and stand behind me so you can see some of the faces that helped us earn these. The first is our Best Community of Music by the NAM Foundation. So if I have any of our K through 12 music students and teachers, if you can come up at this time. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Bryan ISD has been selected as a Best Community of Music by the NAM Foundation for the 6th year in a row. We were selected through a comprehensive application review process that evaluates key indicators, including funding, instructional time, participation rates, facilities, and community support. We join over 1,000 school districts across the U.S. in 2026 receiving this award. This award is a result of our phenomenal programs, our talented students, our dedicated teachers, and the support of our board, our administrations, and the community. Join me in congratulating our Bryan ISD K through 12 music programs for making us one of the best communities for music in the nation.
Woohoo. That's great.
I also have the pleasure of recognizing our district's theater program as a TXETA Outstanding District for Theater for the second year in a row. Will those teachers and students come forward, please?
Woohoo.
This award recognizes districts that are making outstanding contributions to raising standards for theater education through achievement, curation of resources, diversity, and advocacy for theater arts. The committee evaluates not only our students and programs, but also the support our district and community provide. We would not be able to be celebrating this award without the funding you provide and how you show up for our programs. We're extremely proud of our theater staff and students who spend hours outside of the school day rehearsing, building, and preparing for productions. In addition to our district award, Davila Middle School and Bryan High School received awards for being outstanding schools for theater, and Sam Rayburn Intermediate was named an exemplary school for theater for the third year in a row under the direction of Charles Jacoby. Please join me in congratulating these teachers and students. And lastly, I am thrilled to announce that Bryan ISD is once again a TAEA District of Distinction for Art for the 7th year in a row. Can I have those art teachers and students please join me?
Yay.
Over 1,200 districts were eligible to apply for this Texas Art Education Association Visual Arts Award, and 109 districts will receive this outstanding honor for the 2025-2026 academic year. The Visual Arts Administrators of Texas, a division of TAEA, recognizes districts with outstanding leadership in promoting the arts in their district and community. Our visual arts program exceeded a rigorous 14-point rubric that examines the district's visual arts program from participation in TAEA through membership, exhibitions, contests, and community engagements in the visual arts through field experiences, community service, and collaboration with other content areas. We have phenomenal artists in our district, and we have amazing teachers that guide them from elementary through high school. It's the strong foundational support that we give as a district, and then the follow-through that we provide through senior year that allow these students to create amazing works of art that are recognized locally and around the state. We're also thankful for you, Board, that you continue to support fine arts education for every student. This is a result of the hard work of all of our teachers and students. I also want to say a very special thank you to someone who's here behind me, and that is Terry Clark, right there. She has provided leadership and direction and helped make the foundational years of art strong across the district and grow into so many programs that we see. She also has helped me in coming in this position to tell me when things are due on time and teaching me how to make sure that we get this stuff done. She has spent hours above and beyond. We would not be here without her. Join me tonight in celebrating these amazing art teachers and all of our artists in Bryan ISD.
You're going to stand in front of me, and then they're going to stand in front of their teachers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yay. So she's leaving us. Yay.
Okay, that was fun. We'll go to public comment on agenda items and public comment on non-agenda items. Citizens may make comments about topics relevant to district business. Topics should be limited to 3 minutes. Comments concerning specific student or personnel will be held in closed session. We do not have any comments this evening, so we'll jump into board member reports. We'll start with our superintendent, Ginger Carabine.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. That's a hard act to follow, celebrating fine arts. We're certainly proud of these awards rolling in during the summer months so we can start our year on solid ground with lots of momentum. And speaking of starting on solid ground with things happening during the summer, community engagement is on full steam ahead for Bryan ISD. So just these last few weeks, again, during the summer months, we had multiple groups of our students and our staff spotlighted, and we appreciate the attention and support. Starting with the Brazos County 4-H Achievement Banquet. This is for 4-H. I had the good fortune of attending and watching our Bryan ISD students on full display receiving multiple awards. I'm going to brag for a minute. I think maybe we dominated that night. And it was elementary all the way through high school. Some of our students, again, from 4-H receiving the highest awards possible for this particular organization. And most of these kids, especially in high school, are involved in our FFA programs and agriculture in particular. And the future's bright because there were many elementary students present that night. So congratulations to all of our 4-H students, and we're grateful for the partnership. Second, we had the Feast of Caring, it was the 33rd annual Feast of Caring fundraising event at Brazos Center supporting the Brazos Valley Food Bank. I was proud to serve alongside many of the board members to fight hunger in our community. So just a great long-standing tradition to celebrate and support our food bank. And then finally, this summer, we recognized several of our teachers, 10 to be exact, at the Bryan Rotary Club as they were the recipients of teacher grants totaling over $9,000. So we appreciate the partnership from the Bryan Rotary Club. Their mission and purpose is to support education. So they support our students with scholarships, our teachers with grants, and many of our special initiatives, including CTE. So thank you to our community for the engagement and the support. Keeping with engagement, clicked too fast. Play one back, please. There you go. Our annual convocation set the stage this year for another terrific school year. Our message was, it starts with you. In fact, we had t-shirts as we stood united with all of our staff, all 3,000 employees sitting out in the audience at convocation, standing united for the common good of our children. It starts with you was reinforced with messages from former students all throughout the event, just reminding our community that they went to our Bryan ISD schools, many of them K through 12, and they've gone on to do amazing things in their life. So they sent in videos to shout out their teachers and their former schools. So we had our former students and our current students making the message very clear that day that it starts with you, and there's been a tremendous value added to the lives of our children, and we are certainly grateful for our staff and look forward to a good year ahead. Convocation to our listeners is like a pep rally for the staff. It was amazing. That same night, we had our annual community pep rally. This is another just perfect example of family and community engagement coming together to support our staff and shine a bright light on all of our students. We believe it was a record-setting crowd that night. We had more student participations than ever, and we ended the night with a bang as we had a fireworks display graciously sponsored by Balfour. So just a great example, again, of community engagement during the summer months before school started. And speaking of school starting, we celebrated our first day last week, welcoming over 15,000 students, looking for a very strong school year. We ended last year on a very positive note with tremendous momentum, and we look forward to building on our strengths throughout this school year. It was a great day last Wednesday for sure with all of our kids coming back. And then finally, over the weekend, we had our annual hometown reunion. We are so grateful for the support of our Bryan ISD Education Foundation. And every year, I think to myself, how will they top this year's event? You know, it seems impossible, but they've done it again. A sold-out event for over 1,000 guests that night, raising, to be determined, amount of money. But it seems to me, and what I've heard informally, is that we surpassed what we were planning. So thank you to our Education Foundation who pour into our students, our staff, our special initiatives, our district as a whole. And this was, again, just the epitome of family and community engagement coming together in a, honestly, epitome of a reunion. The headliner, Diamond Rio, was the grand finale and made it even more special. So thank you again to our Education Foundation, and we can't wait for Ms. Sarah Braden to join us in the boardroom once they know the outcome as far as the revenue that night. So thank you, Mr. Bryan.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to the Safety and Security Committee report. Mr. Tim Pavlis.
Good evening. Safety and Security met July 29th, approximately 2 p.m. In attendance, Mrs. Caravine, Joel Bryan, myself, Dr. Merrill, Ms. Riddle, Dr. Yugobara, Josh Woodall, Alex Marcantis, Rob Johnson, Janelle Johnson, Jason Ware, and Rich Himmel. Through that process, Mr. Himmel talked to us about night lock phase update number 2. Currently, the status of night lock phase 2 is through the completion of one part of it. At the time of the meeting, over 200 additional night lock supplement door barricade devices have been installed on numerous campuses, with the next phase totaling approximately 700 more. So it was short and sweet, but that's what we had.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
City School Joint Committee report by Mr. David Stasny.
Thank you. This is, in my personal opinion, a very important meeting, because this is when we meet with the city officials, and it's not just a couple of us meeting with a couple of them. It was a very good turnout on August 4th. Ms. Carabine, Dr. Merrill, Norma Friddle, three board members, including myself, and Joel Bryan and Felicia Benford. They had 2 council members present out of the 3 that normally that are assigned to that committee. They also had various staff members present, and this was an in-person one, and it went for quite a while. And we covered a lot of territory, from starting with the city of Bryan, that they're continuing to pay for the crossing guards that are protecting our children at intersections. It's not necessarily something that they're required to do, but they have continued to provide the cost of that, which is pretty significant. If you look around the community, you know how many, or drive around very much, you know there are lots of crossing guards out there. We got an update from Dr. Jason Barpnick, who told us about some future road construction, which was very helpful to know, so we could be ready for that when we start looking at bus routes and so on. And we got an update from, Ms. Carabine gave an update on the virtual school project, and there were a lot of questions asked about that, and certainly a lot of interest, because that's going to be just another thing that we provide that is going to make us different than other districts for the time being, at least. And Ms. Friddle provided an update on, which was extensive, about the beta and how important that is to us, and how important it is that we're hoping that the city folks understand the need for that, because certainly they're sensitive to the tax rate for the entire county as that affects development and so on. But I think they were on board with understanding that we have some legitimate need there. So again, a very good meeting. Those were the highlights, and I continue to believe that we are, both the city and the district are benefiting from this continued effort to work together.
Thank you. Mr. Stasny, you'll also take the Teaching and Learning Board Committee report.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that was just this past August 13th by Zoom. A little more intimate gathering. Ms. Carabine, Dr. Ibarra, and Ruthie Waller and myself. Dr. Julie Hardenwolf was not. I think she's on vacation, I believe, still on vacation. Anyway, she was not available for that. But we had a good discussion and talked about Virtual Academy. And Dr. Ibarra mentioned that some of the parents were extremely appreciative of this, and she believed, or certainly indicated to us, that there is a real need. It's not just something that people might want to do just for the heck of it, or because they don't want their kids necessarily physically in school, but there are children with challenges, great anxieties, and so on about trying to be in a normal school setting, and that again, the parents who were taking advantage of it for those reasons were expressing gratitude for the fact that we're offering that. We also got annual accountability ratings. That was also presented by Dr. Ibarra, and we certainly, with regard to the state, held our own. We got some pluses, and always there's some challenges, but we had a lot of things to be proud of, including a lot of the what am I looking for? Distinctions. There we go. A lot of distinctions, the 35 distinctions that were received by the various schools. And Bryan Collegiate achieved almost unheard of score in the one category. I guess it's the one category of 100. That's not easy to do on the accountability system. So she may get an opportunity to explain that a little more. But they continue to be high flyers, and we certainly have. We're proud of all our schools, but they just have been really just at the top of the heaps, not only statewide but nationally as well. So it's a good meeting.
Thank you. Mr. David Stennis, the Finance Board Committee report.
Finance Committee met via Zoom August 11th at 10 a.m. Those present were Ginger Carabine, myself, Mr. Stasny, and Ms. Norma Friddle. Topics discussed: the first one, health plan or health benefits plan, the financial update. We went through a litany of scenarios that I think we're going to get an update on here shortly. Self-insured plan models, and just kind of an overall option to improve the plan's financial position. Next topic, we discussed the property tax billing and collection procedures related to the VADR, including the considerations related to the preparation and distribution of the property tax statements. And then we also discussed the S&P bond rating. The discussion was held regarding the district's AA bond rating and stable outlook, supported by improving the financial trend and balanced fiscal year 2026 and 2027 budget, which I know has been a point of emphasis with this group. And so all good discussions, only 3 topics, but a lot to discuss within those 3 topics. So.
Thank you. Executive Committee report, Mrs. Felicia Benford.
Yes, the Executive Committee met August 13th at 3:30 p.m. Mr. Joel Bryant, myself, Ms. Ruthie Waller, Ginger Carabine, Norma Friddle, Dr. Brian Merle, Tommy Roberts, and Derek Rush. Our first topic was the health benefits update. And so as Mr. Stennis said, we're going to go into a little more detail tonight with Ms. Friddle on that, the different options, and a high-level overview of some potential plans that we could consider. The next topic, we looked at our facility use and how we rent our facilities out, not only to the community, but also to our staff, and looking at how we can make those a little more tighter, a little more safer, to where they benefit not only the district, but also the entity that is using them. And then the last thing we talked about was our district communication, how we can better that communication internally as well as externally to make sure we're getting the message out to everyone, we're not missing anyone, and we're getting the message out in a timely manner, timely fashion, so that our parents and the community know what's going on, not only in our schools, but in our district. And that was it.
Wonderful, thank you. Information items, we'll start with 8A, benefits plan, financial update. Mrs. Norma Friddle, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, will present.
Good evening, Mr. President, Board Member Superintendent Carabine. We are back in the boardroom this evening to provide some additional information on our benefits planning for the 2027 benefit year. Tonight, we want to share a little more detail on where we are in the process, the progress that we've made since our last update, and some of the options we are continuing to work through as we determine the best path forward for next year's health plan. As you may recall, we put together an employee focus group that included a cross-section of employees from across the district. We held 2 meetings with the group so they could better understand our benefits plan and help us carry that information back to their colleagues. Since then, we've also met with our executive committee to review some preliminary premium scenarios. And tonight we're going to walk you through those scenarios and seek your input and feedback so that we can bring forward final considerations for approval at our next meeting. We are not asking for any action this evening. Tonight is simply an opportunity to review the information and walk through some of the options. So we are all pretty familiar with this chart by now. We have talked several times about the financial condition of the health fund, and the main issue has really not changed. We are still in a $5 million deficit position, and small one-time contributions are not going to solve the problem. We need a solution that provides recurring revenue to the plan. But this is not just about putting more money into the plan. Employee education also has to be a big part of the solution. We need to continue helping employees understand how to use the plan wisely and choose the right place for the care they need. Where we receive care, it can actually have a significant impact on the overall cost of the plan. Medical costs continue to rise faster than our premiums and employee contributions, so we need to start making some meaningful adjustments on both sides. How the plan is funded and how the plan is used. Now, the question that often comes up is, can the district contribute more? And the answer is yes, we can. But there is a trade-off. As you can see here, Bryan ISD already makes a significant contribution compared to other self-funded districts across the state. We are right up there with some much larger districts, which is pretty impressive for a district our size. The challenge is that every additional dollar the district contributes to the health plan comes from the general fund. For example, an additional $10 per employee per month would cost the district approximately $300,000 a year. And you can see how that amount increases as the contribution goes up. So, could the district contribute more? Absolutely. But doing so would reduce the dollars available for other priorities, including future employee raises, unless we identify savings somewhere else in the budget. Now here you can see some of the premium adjustment scenarios that we've been reviewing for our PPO plan. We have options A through D, and each starts with the current monthly rate and then shows the proposed increase. You can also see what that change would look like monthly, per paycheck, and for the full year. The dollar amount at the top shows the estimated additional revenue each option would generate for the health plan annually. And just to put things into perspective, I know some of these increases might feel a little significant. However, based on our current claims experience, we would need an average premium increase of approximately 61% just to bring the plan closer to a break-even position. So as we look at these options, we are really trying to find a reasonable balance between affordability for our employees and the long-term financial health of the plan. And as you can see, the premium adjustments, here you can see the premium adjustment scenarios that we've been reviewing for our high deductible plan. It's the same concept. We have options A through D. Each option starts with the current monthly rate and then shows a potential increase. So you can see what that change would look like monthly per paycheck and then over the full year. And again, the dollar amount up at the top of each scenario shows the estimated additional revenue that option would generate for the health plan annually. As far as plan design changes go, we are not proposing any changes to the PPO plan design at this time. We very recently introduced the tiered system, and we want to give that structure some time to build history so we can evaluate whether the plan is working as intended. On the high deductible plan, we are looking at making some adjustments. As you can see here, this could include some changes to the out-of-network deductibles, some coinsurance amounts and out-of-pocket maximum, among some other items. For the dental plan, we are not proposing any changes at this time. The plan is currently operating in a favorable position, and the existing plan design appears to be working as intended. We also included this financial snapshot at our last meeting. This is where we compared the first 2 quarters of last year to the first 2 quarters of this year. Although we have made some progress in the right direction, the plan is still operating in a deficit position. So there is still some work to be done to improve the overall financial health. If the current trend continues for the second half of the year, we are projected to add approximately $1.4 million to our current negative position by year end. Oops. Not working for me here. Trying to get back to the timeline. Here we go. And just to wrap things up, here is a quick look at the 2027 benefits timeline. Can you move that for me, Clay? Timeline. Here we go. Thank you so much. We've already completed our focus group meetings, and August is really about planning and feedback, talking through our options and make sure that we are thinking carefully about our decisions ahead. We will come back on September the 14th with a recommendation for consideration. October kicks off our informational sessions, and this is where a lot of the education takes place that ultimately leads into open enrollment, which begins November 2nd and runs through November 20th. And then, of course, our new plan begins January 1st. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Ms. Friddle, can you go back to the part where it explains some maybes for the high deductible?
Yes.
Can you kind of just go over those 3 bullets under considerations, excuse me, for high deductible?
Yes, ma'am. We are currently looking to move some of the out-of-network deductibles. If you are in network, we are not changing any of those deductibles. These are only for out-of-network. For example, the individual, right now the individual deductible is, if you're out-of-network, is $10,000. We're proposing to increase that by $2,000. Okay, so if you stay in network, there will be no changes for that. Okay, and then the co-insurances, we are updating some in-network and out-of-network rates. For example, we're going to add a 20% co-insurance, as right now one doesn't exist for the in-network, so we will be putting a 20% co-insurance on that, which is pretty standard, and right now we don't have one, but we are going to be adding one to that. And then the out-of-network co-insurance will also be increasing from 30%. We're just proposing we're looking at some items right now for it going from like 30% to possibly 40 or 50%. So we're kind of tweaking those. Again, these are for out-of-network. And I do want to remind the board that we have about 99% utilization in network. So a lot of these are not going to be very impactful, but it's still some changes that we're going to be bringing for your consideration. And then the out-of-pocket maximums, again, we're updating some of those limits. And most of those changes will be recurring again on the out-of-network, the out-of-pocket maximums. But we are still increasing individual and family for the out-of-pocket maximums for the in-network. So we are looking at some plan design changes. The out-of-pocket maximums will impact in-network and out-of-network.
Are we still working on, besides just good education, trying to convince our employees to not necessarily go to standalone, I won't say names, but to keep our families in network with our network providers?
Yes, ma'am. We will be starting our informational sessions very soon, just like we did last year. Employee education is a very big part of everything that we do here, and we are continuing to educate our employees about, where to go for their care, for emergencies and for non-emergent claims as well. So that entire speech will be part of the educational sessions that we provide to our campuses. We go out and we personally visit all of our campuses and all of our departments and share this information, and that's going to be starting again here very soon.
Does that have a significant position on our budget? I'm sorry, my voice is, I don't know what's going on, but is it a lot of the deficit?
It certainly plays a part in it. I would absolutely not attribute that. It's not entirely toward the deficit, but does it play a part? Sure it does. Does it make up the entire deficit? No, it doesn't. So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks.
Norman, can you go back one more slide?
Yes, sir.
So A, B, C, D, what is A? It's got 150,264. Can you tell me what those numbers are?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
Yes, sir. So for example, I backed up one more slide. If you notice the title of the slide here, these are the considerations for the PPO plan, and these are the considerations for high deductible. Do you see the little HD versus PPO?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, options A, for example, this is the lowest consideration that we're reviewing right now. $662,000 is the total amount of additional revenue that the plan will generate if we go with this option. So if you'll follow me through this one option here. So for example, this is for our PPO Gold plan. Those are the number of employees enrolled, and these are for each of the tiers. So for example, we have 872 employees that are currently enrolled in the employee-only tier for the PPO Gold plan. The first option that we're proposing is to, for example, the employee-only tier right now is $154. We're proposing to bring it up to $180 for an increase of $26. And then you can see the per paycheck amount and then the annual impact to the employee.
So you use the term additional revenue.
Yes.
So, for example, I'm looking at the current deficit, both plans combined of negative $5 million.
Yes, sir.
And if we elect option A, I'm just using as an example here.
Yes, sir.
So do I take 5 million minus 662?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess my only thought on that is, yes, it's additional revenue, but it doesn't take into account any outgoing
Claims paid.
claims.
Yes, sir.
So, yes, it's reducing it by 662,000, but it doesn't necessarily take into account the outgoing.
Correct. And now we know
Claims.
with any plan, we could have a good year. You know, we could have a good year and maybe the claims pattern could change. I'm simply illustrating, if we increase the premiums by the amounts shown in option A, it would produce an additional $662,000 in revenue. Now, on the claim side, you know, that those could be higher, they could be lower, but if the pattern continues, if time were to stop right now, we would only bring the deficit down by $662,000, assuming we chose option A.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. And they go up a little bit higher as you move down the line.
I was just, I think, making sure that my formula, thinking of my formula was in line with actual, so, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, just to make, I guess, the same comment we discussed in small groups to some extent with committees and so on, but I think, of course, we need to emphasize that we have a really favorable plan in terms of what it would cost, and somebody might say, well, isn't there a TS active care plan that we could just convert to and stop doing this self-insurance stuff? And yeah, certainly the numbers convince me that would put a bigger strain on the employees than where they are right now, even if we did do some significant increases. And so if we're going to preserve this thing and the advantages of it, then it's, I guess, time to be fiscally responsible and do as much as we can with the understanding that it's going to be a shock to some of the employees, especially with the employee and family and so on. It's just going to be a shock to go up that much. But you've already given us the reasons why. Healthcare costs keep going up, and we've really not gotten as much as we probably should have contributed from our employees. And I hate having to say that, but it's a reality, and we certainly can't keep treading water. So all I can do is suggest that this is one board member talking, that I think we've got to be pretty aggressive with this, because as far as we know, I mean, like option A might just cover the increase in costs that we get for the next year, the next plan year, or it certainly doesn't look like we could predict that would at least keep us steady. In other words, where we didn't keep adding to our deficit. So, and again, just to be clear, the $5 million was not from one year. That was an accumulation of more than 1 year.
Yes, sir.
So, but that would, obviously A is a big step in the right direction, but I think we have to at least look, and I don't know the effect on again, all the salaries and especially our lower paid employees, and I think we've had some discussion about that, but I think ultimately before we make the final decision, we need to know more about how it's going to affect salaries, especially with regard to any recent raises they might have received. So not that we can say that that's a deal killer, but we at least need to have that information.
Thank you. Any other questions?
And thank you very much. This is very helpful information.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to item 8B, update on the Bryan ISD Virtual Academy. Associate Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, Dr. Barbary Barra, will present.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Good evening, Board. Just a quick update on the Virtual Academy. The numbers are very similar to what I reported last week during our meeting. A little over 100 students participating, grades 3 through 12. The vast majority of those students are in middle school and high school. But we did have a great first few days of school, so I kind of wanted to give a little explanation of what kind of transpired for those families. The families were provided the courses within the system. Students were to make sure they could log into their course. Before students could even get to their courses, however, they had to complete an orientation course that taught them how to utilize the system, how to contact their teacher for help, and to understand kind of how the systems work. Once they concluded with that, they were provided their actual courses within Connexus. We've been verifying they have the correct courses in Connexus. And then the next step was that the family, the guardian, also receives an observer account. And that allows the guardian to go into the system, log in and see everything the student sees. They cannot make edits or changes or submit anything, but they can see all of the communication with the teacher. They can see what the student has submitted. They can see what's coming up. They can see the instructional materials, absolutely everything, so that they're able to be in partnership with their child as they're going through the coursework. So making sure that all of those families had those caretaker accounts. There's even a course where the parent or caretaker is taught how to utilize the system and how to navigate it. So that is all transpired. They are actively looking at the courses and they're actively making progress in it. We run reports daily to make sure kids are on track. We are also still accepting applications. So we have another batch that is going to begin this week of moving over to the virtual platform, and then a few more that are still rolling in. And then once again, we are still accepting applications through the end of August to make sure that we get as many students as possible settled before the year really gets underway. Are there any questions I can answer for you? It's been a great first few days. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks for your hard work on that.
Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda. The board can remove any item from the consent agenda if applicable. If there are none, I will entertain a motion.
I move approval of all the items listed on the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion was made by Mrs. Benford, seconded by Mrs. Waller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion passes. We will jump to action items. This will be 10A, to consider the approval of a purchase of over $50,000 for the campus-wide IP speaker and cabling project. Executive Director of Technology Services, Ms. Julie Johnson, will present.
Good evening, Board. This evening, I'm asking for a purchase request over $50,000. This is a bid that we put out for the cabling that goes along with the IP speaker implementation we're doing that was part of the 2025 bond. So this is just a second portion of it. It consists of installing network cabling, such as Cat6 cabling, punching down those cables, putting actually the labor of putting the speakers in the ceilings and getting those mounted, documenting everything, labeling everything, even sending us photographs for every one of them that they install. This includes 21 campuses. It does not include Sadbury, Rudder, MC Harris, DAEP, or BCHS because either they already had the IP speakers or there are plans to take care of them in other ways. When we originally went out to bid, we were estimating it would be about $1.196 million. So we had 9 responses come in. And what we did is we used that bid tab that I think is attached to the agenda item, and we considered price. We used finance to help us with rating that one. So they went in and adjusted the points for that one first. Then we also evaluated the reputation of the vendor, such as their references, whether they could be reached or not, and then even the feedback we got from those references, along with when they were using references, how big of a scope was that project? Since we will be doing this at 21 campuses, we wanted to make sure they could handle that volume. And then the quality of the vendor's goods and services. So basically, did they meet the specifications of what we're asking for the cabling? For example, is it plenum rated? Meaning, can it go above the tiles and be safe if there's a fire or anything and not put out poison gas, that kind of thing. So yes, they all met the specifications, so they all made the points. And then extent to which the goods or services meet the district's needs. So this is almost similar to reputation, but we're really looking at how far away is this company? If you're closer to us, we feel like you'll probably do a better job and be more reactive to our needs. So we took that into account along with our total long-term costs. Once the project is complete, it will come with a 1-year warranty, but the project we have going on, the cabling should last well over 20 plus years. And then the project timeline was a huge impact as well. We wanted to make sure that whichever company we pick, they're not going to try and sub it out to someone else to try and complete the project. And then we wanted to make sure they're going to be working They understood they were going to be working in a building after hours, not while students are there. And so we really wanted to keep a nice, close, tight timeline, not something that's going to drag out over a year to get done. So, based on all these criteria, we are recommending Rock IT Consulting as the best value for the district. What's nice is that total does actually come under our original estimate by over $150,000. It is, even though as part of the 2025 bond project, we're actually going to be able to utilize the 2020 bond funds to pay for it, so to fund it. So are there any questions?
Is this one of the kind of things that we used to get E-rate stuff, E-rate financing for, or is that, am I thinking something else?
No, you're really close. So we did used to get cabling funded by E-rate, but those cabling was specific to our network cabling. And this being connected to our PA system, a little bit different.
Okay.
So the E-rate is more about connectivity, but whereas the IP is
Well, I
different.
think I understood that E-rate was going away, at least partially.
Oh, we hope not. So
Yeah,
we've
it's
been
still-
really
still-
paying attention.
Still active so far? Okay.
Yeah, it is still under debate.
Okay.
So it's not good. Any other questions?
I move approval of the contract with Rocket Consulting in the amount of $1,039,301.30 for the campus-wide IP speaker and cabling project as presented.
Second.
Motion was made by Mrs. Waller, seconded by Dr. Harlan Wolf. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 10B, to consider the approval of purchase of over $50,000 for pavilion remediation at Jane Long, Mitchell, Neal, and Bowen. Deputy Superintendent Dr. Bryan Merrill.
Yeah, just real quickly, we've got some pavilions that need repair. We went out for requests for quotes to 336 vendors. We had 2 submissions received, and the one that we're bringing to you tonight from Aggie Lane Construction is the lowest bid. And those projects are at Jane Long, Mitchell, Neal, and Bowen. And there's just plinths, some concrete that needs to be poured, and they need to take care of the metal that's supporting the pavilion. And so it's just part of the maintenance that we've got. So we just wanted to bring it to y'all tonight.
I move approval of pavilion remediation project at Jane Long, Mitchell, Neal, and Bowen to Aggie Land Construction in the amount of $176,800 as presented.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Stennis, seconded by Ms. Binford. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Merrill. We'll go to closed session. The board will now convene in closed session to discuss the following items as allowed by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.074, 551.0821, 551.072, and 551.076. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussion in a closed session will occur after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. The time is now 6:54 p.m. The board reconvened in open session at 8 PM, or I guess 7:56 PM. No action was taken in closed session. There being no further business, the meeting adjourned at 7:56 PM.